Hi, I'm Grace and I make videos about lifestyle and fashion in Japan. Today I want to talk about my experience being plus size in Japan. I'd like to split this video into two parts, so the first part that I'm doing today is talking about my own experiences. And the second part I'd like to make a tips kind of video where I'm talking about how to feel body positive in Japan being plus size. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, you don't look that plus size to me, Grace. Well, yes and no. Remember, this video is all relative. This is about being plus size in Japan, not plus size in general. The average woman in Japan is a lot smaller than me in height, in body size, in pretty much everything. Even shoes I have trouble finding. When I say I'm big boned, I literally am big boned here. I'm taller, I'm broader, I'm bustier. Everything in general is just bigger on my body naturally. In the UK, I'm probably about a size 12 or 14. I've been bigger, I've been a 16, I've been smaller, I've been about a 10. But in general, my body tends to lie within the 12, 14, and that's about where I am at the moment. Considering the average clothing size in the UK is that size 16, it says to me that most women who are moving from the UK at least to Japan are going to be this bigger size. They're going to feel bigger, they're going to be like me or bigger. Some people have a fantastic time when they come to Japan and like all the clothes fit them, or if anything, some of the clothes are a little bit too big because they've always been naturally small, and that's fantastic for you, but that ain't me. But remember, you can always take in clothes. It's always harder to make clothes bigger, and it's always heartbreaking when you're squeezing yourself into something in a changing room and just, it's not gonna happen again and again and again. It can take a real toll on your mental health. And I've had times when shop staff have said to me, it's stretchy at the back, it'll fit you. And like, I can't get this on. It doesn't fit me. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you'll know that I love fashion. I find it so amazing because we all have to wear clothes. I mean, you can go outside without clothes on, but you might get arrested. I'm not advocating being naked all the time. We can use our clothing to show our sense of individuality, to show our sense of self, to boost our confidence, to make us more comfortable. Sometimes if I'm having a bad day, just putting on something nicer makes me feel better. Of course, you do not have to be interested in fashion at all. You can just shove on whatever, and that's absolutely fine. That's also a sense of your personality and a sense of yourself. One of the reasons I came to Japan to live here was my love of the fashion here. I've had an interest in alternative Japanese fashion for maybe 10 years now, and then I looked into street fashion and I was like, wow, this is so cute but wearable, and I think this is just right for me. So I do love a lot of the street fashion here, as well as the alternative styles. So something to note about Japanese fashion is it usually comes in a free size, which is a one size fits all kind of thing, and tends to be more boxy shaped and baggy, or it will come in a medium or a large, and there's not much discrepancy between the two, to be very honest with you. So it can feel so disheartening when you try and fit on a large and it doesn't fit, or you try and fit on a free size, something that's meant to fit pretty much most bodies here, and it doesn't. And you start thinking to yourself, well, what's wrong with my body? I think that's one of the positive things about being a Western person, is you can think to yourself, well, this wasn't designed for my body. This was designed for small Asian people. And it does give you a sense of perspective, but at the same time you start to think, well, there must be something wrong with my body if I can't fit into these wonderful clothes, which are supposed to be one size fits all. Where does that leave me? And one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel was all these popular female YouTubers in Japan, they're all really slim. They can all go shopping and every single thing will fit them. A lot of the time they can go out and they can go shopping, and it's not even in the back of their mind that 90% of these clothes are not going to fit them. And I know I'm not that big, I know, but I am on the bigger side. I do have these struggles. And one of the important things I do in making my videos about plus size fashion is making sure these clothes are available in sizes that are too big for me. That I am not the biggest that this brand is going to go to. That there are options for people bigger than me. That there are options for people like me in Japan, and you can dress cute. And you know what? It's been a really long time getting to this conclusion that I can have options and that I can be included in this sphere as well, as someone who has been deemed chubby. Chubby, that is a word I hear a lot here, directed generally in my direction. It's difficult because the culture about talking about weight is so different from the West. Now, if I came up to you and I said, "Oh, you've put some weight on," you would look at me like, rude. But here, it seems to be everyone's public opinion, your body. I've been on dates where I've been told I'm chubby. I've been told by people I barely know that I'm getting fat. And it's none of your business. But here it seems to be that it is people's business, and people want to comment on that because they're concerned about your weight, because it's not good to be fat though, is it? And I've been here long enough to take it with a pinch of salt now, but when I was first getting asked if I was pregnant, hey, it was a bread baby, it was a food baby, there was no baby involved here, I was quite offended. But now it's just like, no, I'm just feeling fat today. It happens. But having your body be public opinion is so strange to me. And don't take advice from the Japanese for this one. Don't comment on people's bodies. Whether you know that person well or not, I've had both sides of those people commenting on my body. Their body is their business. Who cares if they're bigger or smaller or whatever? Just don't make a comment and everyone can be much happier. It's not like these are just targeted at me. I hear it worse for Japanese women amongst Japanese women and girls. And let me tell you, if you've ever been to an onsen, which is a public bath in Japan, you will know that a lot of women are not this skinny size. If you're a woman, you probably won't know that if you're a man because you're not going into the women's area, but I'm assuming mostly women are watching this. And I can assume that those Japanese women are having a tough time, if not a much tougher time than I am, with regards to clothing and people talking about their body size and all of that, really. I saw a quiz-style TV show where one of the challenges was the women on a conveyor belt, and then they had to order them on who was the lightest to the heaviest. I constantly see adverts for diet pills. I see ads for gyms on the trains that advertise 48 kilograms being the best weight that you can be. I've seen interviews with young Japanese women who say, oh, if I was like over 60 kilograms, I wouldn't leave the house until I'd gone below that number. I see models on fashion websites that has their height and their weight. This obsession is everywhere. And I feel as a white person, as a Western person, I probably get away with a lot more than these Japanese women do, constantly barraged with these images of beauty and weight. So you're probably saying to me, Grace, well, you could just lose a bit of weight and you could get into these clothes. And trust me, I've tried, and not always in the healthiest way. I want to tell a little story about disordered eating. If this is a trigger for you, check the time code and you can skip it. So I was placed in some very bad schools and I felt a little bit trapped in my job situation anyway. So I know there was a lot of bad stuff going on in the back of my head that probably wasn't helping with this disordered eating anyway, as a bit of background as to what was going on in my life. And obviously my obsession, well, I wouldn't really say obsession, but my love for fashion was a big part of my life, and I enjoyed wearing cute clothes. And often I would wear cute clothes that were probably just a bit too tight for my body. Like, they go on, but they don't really fit, let's be honest. They, things start to bulge out a little bit around the midriff area. But I still sort of went for it. And I was getting a bit fed up with that. And I decided, well, I'll lose some weight. That's going to be the best thing to do. And I did a lot of research and I got myself a Fitbit. And my Fitbit, I would really aim for those 10,000 steps every day, to the point where I would be walking around the teacher's room to get those 250 every hour. And that wasn't good, but it was okay to start with. I was just trying to get that exercise up because I'd been a bit lazy previously. Fine, whatever. So then I joined a gym and it had a pool and I loved to swim and I loved to use the machines and make myself strong. And I was like, oh, great, a gym here in Japan, and it's very much within distance of my house and my schools. This is ideal. So what they had there was amazing. They had one of those body scanner things So it checks your fat percentage, your muscle percentage in certain parts of the body where you need to work on, and all of that good stuff. And you get to do that for free when you sign up. So they got me on the machine and scan, and I was a bit on the heavy side, and my body fat percentage was probably a bit higher than it should have been. But I wouldn't say that I was unhealthy. I was in the healthy range for everything. Maybe my muscle was a bit low because I hadn't done much like weight training at the time. But in general, I was within the healthy bar section. But my weight was on the heavier side and my fat was on the heavier side. So I thought, well, I do need to lose a little bit of weight, but I'm glad that I'm not as big as I thought I was. Because being here, you can think you're an absolute giant and an absolute humongous human in comparison to everyone else, when in fact, you're quite normal, you're all right. You might be a bit on the heavier side like I was. So I signed up and I got my Fitbit, and in the first month, I didn't really feel any changes. And I decided, I don't think it's just the exercise. I think I need to reduce my calories as well. And it turns out the Fitbit has a calorie counter, so you can see your calories in and your calories out. So you can work out what's like a good range to be losing weight. And it was such a pain at the beginning because I had to weigh all my food to work out the calories. But the weighing didn't really stop. And I was making sure I was almost like 1,000 calories in difference of exercise to the food I was eating. And it wasn't generally good food. It would be like, oh, I can only eat 1,500 calories today. I've got 300 calories left. Rather than eating an apple, I'll eat a bit of cake because that's what I wanted to eat, because I felt so miserable. Because I was feeling so miserable with the diet that I was on that I just wanted to eat what I wanted to eat because I was so tired all the time. My skin was terrible. And my nails were particularly the worst. I remember that when I was cutting them, they'd just snap. And I was like, my nails have never been this bad, but I don't really know what's going on. And my job situation was also bad, but I was completely obsessed with weighing my food, making sure I didn't go a calorie over, making sure that this exercise was so much higher than my eating. And the exercise, I wasn't doing any muscle work, so it was all cardio, so it could go on my Fitbit. I'd finish work, and then I'd go to the gym for an hour, walk for an hour, have a snack, which was maybe a boiled egg at 80 calories, and then go home and cook dinner, which I would weigh to be almost half the amount of my husband, just boyfriend at the time. And I started to weigh myself as well, so I could track that. And I wasn't satisfied unless I was losing 0.5 kilogram to 1 kilogram every week, and that's too much to be losing. I mean, some say, oh, if you're extremely overweight, you losing that much is all right, but I was not extremely overweight. That wasn't a good amount to be losing every week. So I hopped back on the body scanner a few months after, because you got your second time for free as well. After that, you had to pay. And yes, I had lost weight. And I looked at the stats, and pretty much all that weight I'd lost a bit of fat, but most of it was muscle. I just completely lost most of my muscle, and I was feeling incredibly weak and incredibly tired. And that's because that difference between my calories and the bad calories and the exercise I was doing just wasted my muscle. So I might have been in the weight range, but I was not in the healthy range at all. So I was talking with the staff, and he was like, do you do any muscle training, or is it just cardio? And I said, it's just cardio. He's like, well, it's really good that you've lost all that weight. And I just remember thinking, nah, it's not good that I've lost all that weight. That's not good. And from then on, I decided, nah, no more of this. No more calorie counting. Yes, I will continue with my Fitbit, but I'm not going to count what I'm eating. I'm just going to try and get my exercise in, try and get those 10,000 steps, but not care if I don't get that 10,000 steps, and try and get those weights in as well. Just improve my muscle health, because I was so weak, but also still fat. And then soon after, my boyfriend at the time, who is now of course my husband, proposed, and I thought, you know, I've got to take this health thing seriously. We're going to have our whole lives together. Maybe we won't have children in the future, but I just want to be healthy for our life together, and not just our wedding. Like, I'd like to look good at the wedding. I want to look healthy at the wedding, and I want to be strong again. I want to be stronger. And we moved soon after. I got a personal trainer. I was really good on what I was eating much less chocolate and sweets, all those good calories. And I got down to about a size 10 in the UK. And I was really healthy and really strong. And I will never be less than a size 10. Like, I could not do anything more to make myself fitter and healthier than I was. So I know that even at a size 10, some things were still tight on me in Japan. Some things still didn't fit right. And I feel like I can never be less than a size 10 without some very dangerous eating habits. And I will not go back to that place at all. And the thing is now, I love my body so much. Even if I've put on weight, even if I'm chubbier, I love my body. And my body, whatever size it is, has no reflection on my character or sense of self. Even if it's a bit chubbier, even if people say, Grace, are you pregnant? No. Bear in mind, people were asking if I was pregnant before I even was married. So it's not like, oh, you're married now, are you pregnant? Oh, no. Also, if you're thinking of joining a gym in Japan, I would say totally go for it. There's a massive range of gyms kind of everywhere. And that's one of the places where no one has ever made any comment on my weight. Everyone just leaves you to it, which is fantastic. I love to be left on my own to exercise freely and quietly. Japanese television can be terrible. A lot of the time, bigger women are the butt of the joke, or the fact that, oh, I really love to eat because I'm really fat. Oh, look at me. Oh, food, amazing. I'm fat. Ha 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 ha. Or they put them in deliberately tight-fitting outfits to like show off this fat, or really skimpy clothing. Iteq is a terrible one for this. And all these women, they're fat. It's funny because they're fat. And that's a lot of things we've moved past in the UK. When I came back, I saw a television advert that was like, fit is strong. And clothing adverts were using women of every size and color and shape. And I said this to my husband, like, isn't this great? And he said, we would never have that in Japan. I just can't imagine those kind of body acceptance things being public in Japan. One creator I absolutely love is Naomi Watanabe. She is an amazing plus size woman. She's a singer, she's a dancer, she's a fashion icon, she's a comedian. And she takes such pride in her big body and she does not give any fucks. She's probably one of the only bigger women I see on Japanese TV. She even has her own plus size clothing brand, Punyas, which I will do a little bit more of a video about, but you can see me opening their lucky bag in my previous videos. I'm so pleased there's at least one woman who's really standing up for those plus size people in Japan. I'm sure I'll come away from this video and think of 1,000 more things that I want to say about being plus size in Japan and my own experiences, but I've got another video coming and I'll try and fit them in there. Everybody is beautiful, even if your society is trying to tell you otherwise. Subscribe, comment, like, all of that good stuff, and I will see you soon. Bye!